let's say, my ancestors, my forebears, and look at all the people in this province that have been here now for 100 years, 150 years, couple hundred years, sort of thing, and all throughout Canada over the past couple hundred years. Well, the nation itself is what, like 100 and we got our birthday coming up now in about 10 days time, guys, and again, I'm not sure, we're over 150 years old, but I'm not sure. I think it's 158 now, 157, 158 this year, but it's been we're still 100, 200 years old. So what I'm trying to say is that those of us that have been there that long, we created this nation, we built this nation, we made this nation. So those of us that came here and created the nation, created the provinces, the structure of the nation, created the institutions, created the industries, created the governments, and created all the different types of programs, the systems, that where people can live and be more comfortable, and the government would invest those people and all the rest of it, well, it was us that created all of that. To make the kind of country that we live in today, and to make it the kind of society that we want it to be comfortable in, and to be prosperous in, sort of thing. So if you want to look at it that way, you could say, it's like, why should we be deprived of the very thing that we created ourselves? So it's tough. I mean, it's tough for some. I'm not prejudiced against anybody, but I mean, when I look around me and see those that are just coming here for the first time, and only just kind of fresh off the boat because they're off the planes or whatever, and it appears as though they're getting all the best of everything. They're getting the best housing. They seem to be getting all the jobs. The government seems to be, the government here, the government all throughout the rest of Canada, down in the States, the governments all throughout Europe and all the rest of it, seem to be bending over backwards to try to make it possible for these people to get into these countries and to get ahead in these countries. But they appear to be doing it at our expense. Whereas the same level of investment is no longer in us, the long-standing residents or whatever. We're just being somehow overlooked and shoved to one side for the sake of all these other people that they're bringing in that are doing what, guys? Because they're not bringing in highly skilled people. They're not bringing in people that are able to contribute, like make the place better. They're coming from poor countries. They're coming from countries where they have their own issues, cultures that have all kinds of screwed up ideas about things, about life and belief systems and all the rest of it. And they come here and they bring that here to this country, to the United States, to Europe and all the rest of it. They bring that with them. And we do nothing to, the government, does nothing to help them figure out how to assimilate better, sort of thing. And it seems like some of them don't even necessarily want to assimilate anyway, So we got to sit back and we got to see all this happening, and we got to see how our countries and our cultures and our societies gradually deteriorate, sort of thing. We're not benefiting from it, sort of thing. We're being pushed into greater levels of poverty and higher numbers of homelessness and all the rest of it, pushed out on the streets, overlooked for the jobs and all the rest of it, sort of thing. So we don't get the income. So more and more people have to rely off government assistance for the countries that have those kinds of programs in place, sort of thing. And the whole systems are becoming more and more and more strained, and none of these countries are benefiting. You're not seeing improvements in any of these countries because of these insane, crazy, utterly irresponsible immigration policies. So at the end of the day, even the people that are coming here from these other places aren't benefiting greatly because they're not seeing their lives improve. Like it seems like they're been given every opportunity to improve their lives, to establish themselves here. But I mean, they must know, they can't be that senseless. They must know that it's being done at the expense of the long-standing residents, sort of thing, So for myself personally, I mean, it does affect somebody like myself personally, because I've lived here in St. John's now 38 odd years, guys, somewhere around that. I've been on my own now for over 40 years. A couple of years in Gander, that's like central Newfoundland sort of thing, and the rest of the time here in St. John's. And I've been struggling ever since I've been here in St. John's, guys, but what I have been seeing, what I have been going through, what I've been seeing going on around me in probably less than 5 years, guys, I struggle to figure out a way to put it into words. I struggle to try to figure out a way to comprehend it, to get my mind around it, to try to figure out what it's all about. What it's like. So when I almost became homeless there 3 years ago, over 3 years ago now, almost 3.5 years ago, I was asking myself why. Like how has things gotten so insanely bad in this town? This is the capital of the province, where I can't even get a mediocre one-bedroom apartment anymore. Now the winter season is the worst time of the year for anybody looking for anything here in this town, guys, because everything is already nabbed up around this time of the year, winter season anyway. This time of the year now, actually, as the schools are closing and all the rest of it, and I guess the universities will be closing down soon, and colleges and all that sort of stuff, and whoever may be here in town temporarily to do their courses and so on, may be heading out of town, either temporarily or probably indefinitely if they finished up there, that increases your chances then of maybe finding more places and slightly better quality places around this time of the year. The end of the spring season, coming into the early summer season and all the rest of it sort of thing, That used to be the case. But now where we're pumping so many more people into these places sort of thing, there's that extra demand then for the places as soon as they become available. So for virtually every single solitary thing in this town, it's the same thing right across the entire country, it's the same thing throughout the United States and Europe and all the rest of it, there's massive waiting lists for everything. And so, so it's like, I want to improve my situation. I want to get out of this situation. I want to get into an apartment. I want to live more like a bit more of a normal person sort of thing. But every effort I make and every person I contact, I'm constantly told there's this waiting list for this, there's waiting list for that, there's waiting list for something else, waiting list as long as your arm sort of thing, And I'm thinking, my good God, I mean, like, what have we done here? Like. If it's that bad, why are we still pumping more and more people into our countries? Into our provinces and all the rest of it. And so, guys, like I don't know who watches my videos. I don't know where you're from, what countries you're from, all the rest of it sort of thing, what kind of an audience I have for the material I make. They've struggled to get my videos viewed, get a bit of viewership and increase the numbers of views and so on that. But I mean, I'm somebody from a part of the world that I guess much of the world doesn't know a damn thing about. This is the other thing that amazes me about all these people that come here to Newfoundland. How did they even find out about the freaking place to begin with? Because we're kind of like, we're just forgotten about. We're this island in the North Atlantic on the fringes of the North American continent. We were the first place to be visited by the European people. That this was the first place, Newfoundland was the first place to be visited by European people. So we started the whole freaking process of the European people coming to North America started here, But I mean, after the whole process got going, and it's been going now for the past few hundred years, now we're forgotten about. We're just on the fringes now of North American society sort of thing, And that's been good and that's been bad. I mean, it's been good in the sense that like we've been able to keep to ourselves, been able to keep our culture, our identity kind of like more or less onto ourselves, and everybody's more or less the same culture, same religion, blah, blah, that what's the word for it? But everything's more or less the same. Can't remember the name now, but whatever. You know what I'm talking about anyway. Homogenous or whatever. Society. So because of that, I mean, there's been very few problems within the society because everybody's more or less the same anyway. We all traditionally, historically, come from French, English, Irish, and Scottish backgrounds, guys. But I mean, that's like if you think about the part of the world, the people, that's basically all the same. French language isn't English language, so it's a different language, but Christian culture, similar ways of thinking, culture is similar, it's like the Scottish, Irish culture. I mean, it's like, it's still Christian for over 1,000 years sort of thing. I mean, the similar belief systems, similar ethics, similar blah, blah, you can just go on and on. So, when we came here and tried to establish ourselves here, there wasn't massive problems because you're kind of coming from almost more or less the same kind of cultures and society sort of thing, So we've been able to live fairly harmoniously with one another for the whole time that we've been here, I don't want to get into the issue of the First Nations people, the indigenous people that lived here on this island before we came here. That's a very, very sad story. I like to talk about it. I'm not I'm ashamed of it, but I'm not embarrassed to bring it up and talk about it and the horrible thing that we did to the indigenous people here. I may make a video about that sometime down the road, like over all the indigenous issues and indigenous claims and all the rest, what's right and what's wrong. Like, I got a ton of things I want to talk about, guys. I got to tell you, I got a ton of things I want to talk about, a ton of videos I want to get in, and it's been poisoning me that I've been taking so long now to kind of get all the stuff on the go here again, sort of thing. Knowing full darn well that I make the videos and very few people look at them anyway, sort of thing. But anyway, this is basically the situation throughout Canada, throughout the United States, throughout Australia, all the colonies, we'll say, the original colonies and so on. You kind of more or less had the same kind of people that moved to the places, sort of thing. So once the societies got established, everything kind of just progressed and kind of flowed from that fairly harmoniously because everyone was more or less on the same page. So now we are seeing this relatively new phenomena where the governments of the world want to... I should check the timer now. Just 1 second. Okay, now I'm going to have to cut this off very, very soon, guys, because I think I only have 1 hour and 50 odd minutes sort of thing. So I'm an hour and... Okay, I'm just a little over an hour in there now, guys, so I'm going to maybe go another half hour and then try to clear this up, sort of thing. Now, I knew this was going to happen too, guys, because once I start jibber-jabbing, sort of thing, I can go off on any particular direction you can think of, sort of thing, and it's just, I never know, because none of it is scripted, none of it is, so my mind will go wherever my mind's going to, and whatever pops in my mind as I'm having the conversation, that's the direction it'll go in, and that's it, sort of. But, it's like, even though none of my material is scripted, guys, I mean, I get into, like, I think very important topics. I think my perspective on a great many things is a useful perspective. I think it's insightful perspective and worth me sharing and worth other people at least considering, So I mean, it's like, so I want to make videos soon now about all this immigration stuff and so on, that I want to that I'm supporting Israel. I've made videos about that already. I'm a passionate supporter of Israel, sort of thing, and I've been going mad wanting to make more videos about all of that and what's continuing to play out and unfold. What's it now? Like well over 2 years since the October 7th massacre in Ireland, in Israel, guys. This is why I'm getting treated for why I've been told that I probably have ADD. So God knows what's going to come out of my mouth when I'm saying stuff, guys. That's my mind struggling to freaking stay focused as I'm trying to explain stuff, okay? It's not that I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's just staying focused and forcing myself to have a nice flow of thought when I'm expressing myself, and not all of a sudden just from my mind get addled and any old freaking thing come out of it. The situation in Israel, yes, and the ongoing propaganda against the nation, against the people, and they increased propaganda. Okay, I better not get off on tangent because I wasn't going to get in there right now. But I mean, it's like I'm just beyond sickened by it all. Not sickened with Israel, sickened with the attitude of the world toward Israel. Okay, sickened by all the lies, sickened by all the propaganda, sickened by a movement, a religious movement of a particular religion that is highly political, that has infiltrated the whole of the Western world. It seems like it. Absolutely, certainly seems like it. They do have the money and the backing and so on that from certain very, very wealthy nations in the Middle East, the Gulf states, and all the rest of this sort of thing to finance them to be able to do this sort of thing. And so they are pumping this horrendous propaganda into the West that this is the numbers of people that are choosing to believe it and choosing to buy into it. It is staggering. It is utterly, completely blowing my mind. When there's so much evidence out there contrary to things that they're propagating and lying about, and they refuse to see it and they refuse to look at it, and the mainstream media and much of social media as well refuses to see it and refuses to acknowledge it and refuses to present it and all the rest of it sort of things. So you have this insanely twisted, distorted presentation of what's occurring with Israel right now in the Middle East, this whole Iran thing right now and so on and so forth. I want to make a video about that. I really wanted to discuss, like all of it, guys, and I've been itching now for months, to get more, start pumping out more and more videos and start getting into this sort of stuff and start talking about this sort of stuff more and so on that, because like my perspective is as good as anybody else's perspective. And I am doing the research on Israel's side, research that the bigoted, brainwashed propagandists don't want to look at. And not that they can't, they can, it's being made available to them, but they flat out refuse to look at it because it goes against their bloody friggin' narrative, And so for over 2 years now, they have dominated our streets. They've taken over our streets. They've pushed their friggin' agenda into our faces. They've tried to take over our societies, to try to brainwash us to believe the way that they think, sort of thing. We are seeing the worst levels of anti-Semitism